What's up, everyone? This is Illinois Divorce TV. I'm attorney Bobby Buchanan here in Chicago. Today's question is, can you leave the country with your child during a divorce without your spouse's permission? Let's approach this from a couple different angles. The first one is, practically speaking, can you do it? The answer to that question is yes. If your child has a passport, or they might not even need a passport depending on which country you are going to, you will be able to get out of the country with your child because the United States does not have exit controls, meaning nobody is checking to see if you have proper permission, credentials, passport, anything like that when you leave the country. What they're checking, or where it is going to be checked, is when you get into the next country to see whether or not you have the valid permission, whether that is a passport or a visa or whatever it may be. So practically speaking, you are probably going to have no issue getting on the plane and getting out of the country. Now, does that make it legal if you don't have your spouse's permission? Well, if there's no court order saying you can't do it, generally speaking, you're not going to be putting yourself in a position of violating a court order. You're not going to be held in contempt because there's been no order placed saying that you can't do it. But if you do it, if you go out of the country without your spouse's permission, then most likely what they're going to do is rush to the courthouse and say, "Judge, this is an emergency. They've fled the country without my permission. I want an order that says they have to come back immediately." And the judge will probably issue that order. And then at that point, you are going to be held in contempt if you don't come back to the country immediately or send the child back to the United States immediately. And then once you do get back to court, the judge is going to look at you and go, "What the heck are you doing leaving the country without your spouse's permission? That is not how you should behave in a normal co-parenting relationship." Now, if you're leaving the country for some other reason, you're fleeing something, domestic violence or something like that, that is not what I'm talking about here. That's a completely different type of issue. That's a completely different video. What I'm talking about is you want to leave the country and you just can't get permission from your spouse. So what can you do? What's maybe a smarter way to approach this? Smarter way to approach this is to file a motion in court and say, "Judge, I want a court order saying that I can leave the country," and laying out what your itinerary is, what your plans are, etc. And the court is probably going to allow you to leave the country. It's possible that you would have to post a bond if there's a credible reason to believe that you might not return with the child, meaning you have to post money that will ensure that you will return. It will incentivize you to return. That is done not infrequently by the courts. So by being proactive, even if you're not getting your spouse's permission at home, going into court and saying, "Judge, this is reasonable. We're going to visit family, and that's why we want to go travel, and my spouse is being unreasonable by saying no," the court then is going to look at it and go, "Listen, this is a kid. It's in the best interest of the children to travel internationally. Most judges say that. So you will have a good shot at getting that court order. Whereas if you don't get the court order, the potential for things to blow up and for it to become a very complicated, unnecessarily complicated matter is much higher. I hope that clarifies things for you. Let me know in the comments if you have any comments, questions, concerns. I would love to continue the conversation down there. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon.